is Agata. Sorry for technical problems. Today I will tell you a little about Earth's history in speed up. And the idea of this lesson is to show uh, some small part of events in Earth's history in a more familiar to everyone way, because when we look at the geological time scale, we've got a lot of names of eons of eras, but when we see the main part of Earth history is called Precambrian. We don't know much about this time, and the history which we know is a very short part of it. For this lesson, I want to make assumption, because Earth's history contains about 4.5 billion of years, and to compare time of some events, we assume on this lesson that this 4.5 billion of years is a 1 year, from 1st January to 31st December. So in our year, 1 day will be containing almost 12.5 millions of years. 1 hour will be half of million of years, and 1 minute it's more than 8,000 years, which gives 1 second equal to 144 years. So we can see how during this our year events occurred in Earth's history. So the beginning, Earth's formation, which have place 4.5 billion of years ago. It's 1st January. It's connected with evolution of solar system. 4.6 billion of years ago, we had a giant cloud of molecular gas, of some particles, and gravitational forces gave some collapse, and the mass was collected in the center, forming the sun, and the rest of this cloud formed protoplanetary disks, which gave later planets, moons, asteroids, and other small bodies of solar system. The very beginning of the Earth is called Hadean. It took place from the very beginning up to 4 billion of years ago, which gives in our year time from 1st January to 13th February. And the Earth, it was a very young Earth, formed from this protoplanetary disk. There were no life at this time. There were very extreme hot temperatures. Volcanic activity was very frequent and high, and at that time there were a collision with some small body which gave moon Earth's moon was formed at that time, and the first oceans appeared 4.44 billion of years ago. It's around 11th January in our year. Around 4.1 to 3.8 billions of years ago, which is almost all February in our year, have place a great event called Late Heavy Bombardment. Also, it's called lunar cataclysm, and during that time, a very large number of asteroids, meteoroids, and other bodies which are in the solar system were colliding and bombarding Earth. All the time we have some asteroids, meteors appearing, colliding with Earth and other planets, but during that time it was very large number of that events. First life. There is no exact date of first life when first life appears. The origin is not exactly known, but the oldest rocks, oldest carbon rocks, which are organic origin, are dated to 3.7 billion of years ago, which gives in our year 2nd of March. Possibly the oldest forms of life it's assumed that they appeared in hydrothermal vents. These are underwater, let's say, geysers, where the very hot water and hot gases are floating, appearing from the Earth's surface, and in that places we have extremely high temperatures, but up to now some organisms live in that places. The next event which I want to show you is called Snowball Earth. There is during Earth history at least once we've got an event called Snowball Earth. The first was 2.2 billion of years ago, which gives 6th of July. So we already passed half of the Earth's history. And Snowball Earth, the name is because of that during that time we've got glaciers which were spreading from the poles to the equator, and almost all Earth was was frozen. We've got few events like that in the Earth's history. The the next event, the next thing which I want to tell you is supercontinent Rodinia. Supercontinents are forming during Earth's history for 200, 300 million of years ago. Then they breaking apart, and the continents are colliding, and this cycle is called Wilson cycle. And one of these supercontinents, where all continents were connected, have formed 1 billion of years ago. So it's in our year, it's 2nd October. And it's not a very strict date because forming of this continent could take 200 million of years ago, and it's dated like that since 1.1 to 0.9 billion of years ago. And after some time, around 600 million of years ago, this continent have broken apart. So in our year, it's around early November. And begin of Phanerozoic, 541 million of years ago. So in our year, it's 16th November. And the name Phanerozoic is from Greek and means visible life. And since that time, we have recorded trace fossils. So we have, like on this picture, we have some fossils of trilobites, and since that time, since 500 millions of years ago, we can dating rocks from fossils, from fossil traces. We can reconstruct how animals look like, what was their behavior, their environment. And since that time, we have emergence of many new species, new groups of animals. And first, plants on the continents. The oldest plants of land fungi are dated to 480, 460 million of years. So it goes in our year 23rd November. And since that time, we've got bigger growth of plant diversity. Some things about fishes. One of the first fishes called Placodemi have been since 420 to 360 millions of years ago. In our year, it's 26 November to 1st December. And the Placodermi is a class of armored prehistoric fishes which lived in that time from the Silurian to the end of Devonian. They head and thorax were covered by armored plates, and depend on species. The rest of body was scaled or naked. Placoderms were the first dived fishes. First tetrapods. First tetrapods appeared 400 million of years ago. So in our year is 27th November. Superclass tetrapoda contains the four-limbed vertebrates, tetrapods, and includes current and extincted species like amphibians, reptiles, also dinosaurs, birds, mammals, and other groups. And since they appeared, since the time when they appeared, many groups, many species were forming. Some of them extincted. Dinosaurs. First dinosaurs appeared around 230 million of years ago, so it's around 10th, 11th December. They appeared in the Jurassic period and become at the end of Jurassic, beginning of Jurassic, there were a big extinction event. It was 200 million years ago. In our year, 13th December, and after that time, they become the dominant terrestrial vertebrates, and later, 65, 66 million of years ago, in our year 24th December, dinosaurs extincted. Actually, many of species have extincted then. It was a great extinction event called Cretaceous tertiary extinction. And there then was a sudden mass extinction of about 3/4 of the plant and animal species on Earth. It was caused by the impact of massive comet or asteroid, which devastated the global environment. The remnants of this impact we have in Chicxulub crater in the Gulf of Mexico, and that giant impact caused many tsunami, many gases and ashes appeared in the atmosphere, and was global winter, which caused this giant extinction. First, maybe not yet humans, but hominins, Australopithecus, which lived 5.5 to 1 million of years ago. It's very end of our Earth history, which gives us 21st December from the 1st p.m. to 10 p.m. And Australopithecus evolved in the Eastern Africa and then spread through the continent. And from that species, then the genus Homo begin evolving. Homo. Homo, from Latin human being, is the genus that encompasses the extinct species Homo sapiens, which we are, and other extinct species, which are classified as or ancestral or close related to modern humans. Homo sapiens emerges close to the 300, 200 thousands of years ago. It's the last half hour of our year, and two examples from human history. Summer, the earliest known civilization in the historical region of southern Mesopotamia, which lived from 5.5 to 4,000 years before Christ. It gives the last minute of our year. The proto-writing in the prehistory dates back to years 3000 before Christ, and from that time we've got the earliest scripts, and in our year it's the last half minute of the year. And the example of Leonardo da Vinci, which lived from 1452 to 1519. It gives time in our assuming year, 31st December, 23rd hour, 59th minute, 56th second. So we are in the last 4 seconds of the Earth's history. Da Vinci was true Renaissance humanist with wide range of interests like painting, sculpture, math, engineering, anatomy, geology. And now we can see that the human history is a very, very small part of the history of all Earth. And for today, that's all what I prepared.